All because I reached for the last piece of braised pork at dinner before my brother-in-law did. My wife slapped me right across the face. My mother-in-law and brother-in-law thought I'd just take it. Instead, I flipped the whole table on the spot. The entire dining room went so quiet you could hear people breathing. If I'm not allowed to eat, then nobody eats. My mother-in-law, Liu Meilan, and my brother-in-law, Shen Yuz, both froze where they stood. The way they looked at me changed. The smugness was gone, replaced by pure fear. They probably never imagined that the man who'd been in a suit, smiling like the happiest guy alive just yesterday, could look completely unhinged today. I ignored their shocked faces, stepped over the mess, and walked back to our bedroom without a word. I didn't cry, not a single tear. When that slap landed, it felt like something inside me shattered with it. I walked to the closet, pulled out my suitcase, and started packing. I folded my clothes one by one. Everything I'd brought with me went back exactly where it belonged. Then I heard movement outside the door. It was Liu Meilan yelling, "Ling Chen, get out here! Look what you did to my daughter. You'll pay for this!" Then came a barrage of pounding on the door. "Open up!" "Ling Chen, open the door." "You had the nerve to throw that at me, so have the nerve to open this door." I ignored them and kept packing. My movements were calm, almost deliberate. My mind felt completely blank, yet somehow crystal clear. I knew it was over. The second she slapped me, our marriage was done. "Bro, please open the door. My sister can barely open her eyes. Come out and take her to the hospital." Shen Yuz was shouting too, his voice shaking. I couldn't tell whether he was scared of me or scared something was actually wrong with his sister. I let out a cold laugh. Wasn't he the one who thought I deserved that slap 5 minutes ago? I picked up my phone and called my aunt, a top divorce attorney with 20 years of experience. "Ling Chen, what's wrong? Didn't you just get married yesterday? Why are you calling me today?" "Auntie, I want a divorce." There was silence on the other end for 3 seconds. "Send me the address. I'll be downstairs in 30 minutes. Don't open the door. Don't say a word." "Wait for me." Her voice instantly shifted into lawyer mode. After hanging up, I sent her the address, rolled my suitcase behind the door, and sat down quietly with my back against it. Outside, the pounding and shouting blended into one wall of noise. I sat against the door with my suitcase right beside me. "Ling Chen, get out here!" Liu Meilan had nearly screamed herself hoarse. "My daughter can't even open her eyes. If you don't come out today, I'll make sure your whole family regrets it." "Bro, just open the door. My sister's really not okay. Please take her to the hospital first." "Mom, stop yelling. Let's get her to the hospital." "What hospital?" Liu Meilan slapped her palm against the door. "He burned my daughter like this and he thinks he can just run? Not a chance. If you don't give me an explanation today, you're not walking out that door." I looked down at the back of my hand. The spots where the hot sauce had splashed were red and stinging. Outside, things went quiet for a few seconds. Then Shen Yutong lowered her voice. "Mom, keep it down. The neighbors can hear everything." "So what if they hear? She hit her husband on day 1 of the marriage. He's the one who should be embarrassed. What kind of son-in-law flips the dinner table? Who does he think he is?" "Mom, stop! You shut up!" "He married into this family to serve people. Why is he acting like some VIP?" I laughed. "Serve people?" "So in their eyes, I got married yesterday, and by today, I was already supposed to be their personal servant." The pounding started again. This time it was Shen Yutong. "Ling Chen, come out. Let's talk this through. You're making a scene and giving the whole building a show." I stood up and looked in the mirror. My cheek was still swollen, with all 5 finger marks clearly visible. I stared at myself for a few seconds, then went to the door and opened it. All 3 of them froze. Liu Meilan's raised hand stopped in midair. Greasy broth still streaked Shen Yutong's face, and her swollen eyes were barely slits. Shen Yuze stood in the back. When he saw the handprint on my face, he quickly looked away. "Done staring?" My voice was flat. Liu Meilan snapped out of it first, shoved past me, and stormed into the room. "Let's see what you're trying to take." I stepped aside and didn't stop her. She rushed to the closet, saw my packed suitcase, and her face turned bright red. "Are you taking my daughter's money? What's in your bag?" "Open it," Shen Yutong shouted. Liu Meilan ignored her and reached straight for the zipper. She dumped my suitcase upside down. There was nothing inside but clothes. Not a single bill. She stood up and shook out one of my shirts. Holding it by the collar, she shouted at me, "Who bought this?" "Answer me." I did. "You bought it? With what money? You've only been out of school a few years. How much do you even make? This shirt has to cost at least 800 yuan. You can afford that?" I looked at the shirt. I'd bought it on sale last year. 230 yuan. "I'm asking you a question." Liu Meilan threw the shirt onto the floor. "Your whole family acts so high and mighty. You think I don't know your dad's factory is already failing and buried in debt? Why else would you chase after my daughter? You know exactly what you married her for." "Mom, stop making things up." "Ask him. Wasn't his dad begging people for loans last month? Old Lee's son-in-law told me his dad can't even pay his workers anymore. And you're still pretending to be some pampered rich kid. Oh, please. Mom, can you just stop?" "No, I'm saying it. Ling Chen, listen to me. If you think you married into this family to live the good life, dream on. We don't support freeloaders. Starting tomorrow, laundry, cooking, taking care of your in-laws, you'll do all of it. If you don't like it, get out right now. Let's see who'll want you once you're not married to my daughter." She didn't get to finish. A knock at the door cut her off. Everyone froze. "Who is it?" "A woman, don't know her. Who shows up in broad daylight like this? Shen Yutong stood there holding her face, not moving. I stared at the door and then it hit me. I'd sent my aunt the address. Who are you looking for? The door was pushed open from the outside. A woman stood in the doorway. She didn't even look at Shen Yuze. Her eyes went straight past him into the room, first to Liu Meilan, then Shen Yutong, and finally the slap mark on my face. Who are you? The woman ignored her. She walked straight into the middle of the living room. As she passed me, I caught a familiar scent of perfume. Then she stopped in the center of the room. Liu Meilan followed, reaching for her arm. I asked you a question. The woman turned to Liu Meilan. Her expression wasn't threatening at all, just calm, almost like still water. But halfway through reaching for her, Liu Meilan's hand somehow stopped in midair. The woman looked away from Liu Meilan and scanned the room. The shattered bowls on the floor, food splattered everywhere. The overturned chair, grease spots on the wall. Was she burned or did she hit something? Shen Yutong opened her mouth but couldn't get a word out. That was when Liu Meilan finally snapped back to herself. Her voice shot up again. Who the hell are you? Barging into my home in broad daylight. Your home? This is my daughter's marital home. If it's not my home, whose is it? The woman nodded. Then she looked at me. Who hit you in the face? He asked for it. Before I could even answer, the woman cut in coldly. Did I ask you? Liu Meilan's words died in her throat. The room went silent for a few seconds. Then Shen Yutong stepped forward, her expression changing again and again. Finally, she forced out a smile. You must be Ling Chen's aunt, right? He's mentioned you before. Please sit down. No thanks, I won't be staying long. Shen Yutong's smile froze. Liu Meilan muttered under her breath, but the woman ignored her. She looked at me. Finished packing? Yeah, then let's go. She turned toward the door, took 2 steps, then stopped and looked back at Liu Meilan. Liu Meilan actually took a step backward under her gaze. What was it you just said? He asked for it. Liu Meilan's lips moved, but nothing came out. The woman nodded, pulled out her phone, and pointed it at Liu Meilan. The screen showed a recording app. A red dot blinked on the display. Go on, say it again. On our wedding night, my mother-in-law took 200,000 wen in wedding money. The next day, because I didn't serve my brother-in-law his food, she told my wife to slap me in front of everyone and said I moved in here to wait on them, so I should stop acting like some rich prince. So I flipped the table, called my aunt, and asked her to come get me. She got here fast. 30 minutes later, she arrived. Who hit you in the face? He asked for it. The woman nodded, took out her phone, and pointed it at Liu Meilan. The screen was on a recording app. A red dot blinked on the display. Go on, say it again. Liu Meilan stared hard at the phone. Why are you recording? What gives you the right? The woman said nothing and kept the phone raised. Shen Yutong rushed over and tried to block the camera. Auntie, please don't do this. My mom just talks without thinking. The woman looked at her. Talks fast? Your hands were pretty fast too when you hit him. That finally set Liu Meilan off and she lunged forward. She reached for the phone. Delete that! You're violating my privacy! The woman stepped back. Liu Meilan missed, banged her knee on the coffee table, yelped in pain, and crouched down. Shen Yutong stood there covering her face, her expression impossible to read. The woman slipped the phone back into her pocket. Then she looked at me. Let's go. I pulled my suitcase toward the door. Behind me, Liu Meilan cried out, Tong Tong! Mom hurt her leg! Come check on me! Shen Yutong didn't move. She stood in the middle of the living room, staring at me. Ling Chen, if you walk out that door today, we're completely done. I set my suitcase down. The whole room went silent. Liu Meilan stopped wailing. Shen Yuze stopped talking. Everyone stared at me as I walked back and stopped in front of her. A flicker of hope crossed her eyes. Her lips moved as if she was about to speak. I raised my hand and slapped her. The crack was sharp. The room went so quiet you could hear the second hand on the wall clock. She covered her cheek and stared at me. That one's me returning the favor. Now we're even. I turned, pulled my suitcase into the elevator, and as the doors closed, I saw my aunt still inside the apartment. She didn't follow me. She just reached into her pocket and placed a business card on the coffee table. Downstairs, I rolled my suitcase outside and stopped by the building entrance. A gust of wind hit my face, making the slap mark throb. I waited 3 minutes before my phone rang. It was my aunt. Did you leave? I'm downstairs. 5 minutes later, the building door opened and my aunt came out. She walked up to me. Deleted it? Deleted it. She nodded, took 1 step forward, then stopped and looked back toward the building behind me. I turned too. Shen Yutong stood just inside the doorway, the slap mark on her face dark red. Liu Meilan and Shen Yu stood behind her. All 3 were packed into the entrance, too scared to come out. Guess why they won't come outside. I followed my aunt's gaze. Shen Yutong still had 1 hand over her cheek. Liu Meilan hid behind her, peeking out with half her face, while Shen Yuze stayed farthest back. See it now? They were never afraid you'd leave. They're afraid of what happens after you leave. Shen Yutong's face went visibly pale. Then Liu Meilan suddenly shouted at the top of her lungs. Don't get smug. If my daughter gets examined for her injuries, none of you are getting away with this. My aunt smiled, completely calm. An injury exam? Sure. I'll go with you tomorrow. My nephew can get checked too, and we'll see whether that handprint on his face is enough to file a police report. Liu Meilan's words instantly died in her throat. She couldn't get out a single sound. Shen Yutong stepped forward, then forced herself to stop. Her voice softened. Auntie, we're still family. We don't need to take this so far. My aunt repeated the words. Family. Then she pulled out her phone and opened her photos. The newest picture showed the dark red slap mark on my face, with all 5 fingers clearly visible. I've already sent this photo to a few friends. One works with a women's advocacy group, another works at a TV station. Liu Meilan's face drained white. My aunt put her phone away. She turned to me. Let's go. I followed her toward the parking lot. Just as we reached the car and she opened the door, she suddenly stopped. Wait, Shen Yutong had run out from the building. She stood a short distance away, her expression shifting over and over. Finally, she managed to say, Lingchen, your mom called my mom earlier. She said she's coming over tomorrow. I froze. My mother hadn't left the county in 3 years. She got horribly carsick and couldn't even make it to my wedding. Why would she suddenly be coming here? Just then, my aunt's phone rang. She glanced down, didn't answer, and turned the screen toward me. The caller ID had only one word. Sister. Liu Meilan leaned halfway out of the doorway, and a huge smile instantly appeared on her face. Her expression changed faster than a light switch. Oh, is that Ling Chen's mom? Pick up, pick up! Let me say hello to my in-law. She started walking toward us, but my aunt immediately pulled the phone back. Liu Meilan froze mid-step. Her smile collapsed. Why aren't you answering? My aunt just looked at her without speaking. Shen Yutong stepped forward and stood beside her mother. She looked at me and asked, Lingchen, your mom's coming. What do you want to do? I looked at the dark red slap mark still on her face. Then I asked, does what I want even matter? Shen Yutong froze for a second. Liu Meilan jumped in immediately. Of course it matters. Look, things got out of hand. We're all family. We can talk this through. I looked at her. Then I answered coldly, talk it through? Where was that attitude when you were screaming and making a scene 5 minutes ago? Liu Meilan opened her mouth, but for once she had no comeback. Behind her, Shen Yuz muttered quietly, Mom, maybe we should just go back inside. Shut up. Liu Meilan snapped at him, then turned back to us and forced the smile onto her face again. Auntie, standing out here isn't very comfortable. Why don't we go inside? I'll get you some water. My aunt checked her watch. Then she spoke slowly. It takes 2.5 hours to drive here from the county. Liu Meilan blinked, clearly not understanding what she meant. My aunt looked straight at her and said every word carefully. And my sister gets terrible car sickness. She's never left that county in her life. The color slowly drained from Liu Meilan's face. Shen Yutong's expression changed too. My aunt pulled out her phone, the screen still lit, and held the caller ID up in front of Liu Meilan. Want to take another look at where this number is from? Liu Meilan leaned closer and stared at the number on the screen for a long time. Then she stammered, this isn't a county number. My aunt said nothing. Shen Yutong leaned in too. Her face changed instantly. This is a local number. Local? But your mom's in the county. Why would she be calling from a local number? I didn't answer. I stared at the number while the phone kept ringing. My aunt handed it to me. I took it, put it on speaker, and there was silence on the line for 2 seconds. Then an unfamiliar woman's voice came through. Ling Chen, this is your number, right? Give her a message for me. It's been a lot of years. Some old debts are finally due. The call ended immediately. A cold gust blew past and my palms were slick with sweat. Beside us, Liu Meilan stamped her foot anxiously. Who was that? Who called? What kind of person talks like that? I ignored her and looked at my aunt. Her expression barely changed, but the hand on my arm tightened slightly. Shen Yutong stood there, her expression shifting again and again. Finally, she forced out the question. Lingchen, who was that? I looked at the number, handed the phone back to my aunt, and asked, do you know this number? My aunt looked down at it, then raised her eyes to me. I do. She was your mom's best friend when they were young. She married and moved here. 20 years ago, she and your mom had a falling out, and they haven't spoken since. I froze. My aunt turned toward the apartment buildings behind us, staring at something I couldn't see, and said quietly, she lives in this complex. Liu Meilan froze, and her face changed instantly. Who? Who lives here? Who are you talking about? Shen Yutong tugged at her mother but couldn't pull her away. My aunt ignored them. Liu Meilan looked at me and asked, your mom hasn't spoken to her in 20 years, and today she suddenly has this woman call you. You don't think that's strange? From behind them, Shen Yuze muttered again, Mom, maybe we should go back inside. It's freezing. Go back where? Are you deaf? Didn't you hear them? Someone in this complex knows their family. Liu Meilan barked at him. Shen Yutong stood there. Her eyes locked onto me. Ling Chen, what does your mom mean? What old debt is she talking about? What have you been hiding from me? I gave a cold laugh. Me, hiding something from you? Maybe you should ask your mother what she's been hiding from me. What do you mean? What could I possibly be hiding from you? I didn't answer. I turned toward my aunt. She finally looked away from the building and back at me. My aunt looked straight at me. Do you remember the name of that friend your mom had? I thought for a moment, then shook my head. My aunt kept looking at me. Her last name was Zhao. You met her once when you were little and never saw her again. Your mom used to say she'd married well. Her husband's family owned a factory. Liu Meilan's face went pale again. Shen Yutong turned to look at her. Alarmed, she asked, Mom, what's wrong? My aunt looked at Liu Meilan. Her voice was completely even. The family my sister's friend married into also had the last name Shen. Liu Meilan suddenly staggered backward and nearly bumped into Shen Yu's. Shen Yutong quickly caught her, but Liu Meilan ignored her and stared straight at my aunt. Even her voice started shaking. Your sister, what's her name? My aunt raised an eyebrow. Guess. Just then, another text message came in on my aunt's phone. She held it out to me. Take a look. I took the phone. The message was from an unknown number. Tell your mother to stop hiding. I'm at the entrance. If she doesn't come down, I'll come up myself. I read the message twice, then looked up at my aunt. Who is this? My aunt didn't answer. Instead, she looked at Liu Meilan. Liu Meilan kept backing away under her gaze and bumped into Shen Yu's again. Why are you looking at me? I don't know her. I don't know anybody. That was when Shen Yutong suddenly spoke. Her voice was pulled tight. Mom, what exactly have you been hiding from me? My aunt crouched down in front of Liu Meilan, who had collapsed onto the ground. Her voice was soft, but every word landed clearly. My sister's friend and you fought over the same man 20 years ago. In the end, he married her. Not you. All the color disappeared from Liu Meilan's face. She looked white as paper. My aunt stood and brushed off her hands. Then she turned to me. The mom in that text isn't the mother you know back in the county. I froze. Then who is it? My aunt didn't answer. She glanced toward the entrance of the complex. Come on. You'll understand when you see her. I followed my aunt toward the entrance. Liu Meilan scrambled up from the ground behind us. Then she started shouting like she'd lost it. Where are you going? Don't leave! Shen Yutong grabbed her mother tightly. Stop yelling. Liu Meilan yanked her arm free. Why shouldn't I yell? Don't go around making things up. I've never done anything. My aunt didn't even look back. I glanced behind us. Liu Meilan stood at the building entrance, Shen Yutong holding onto her, with Shen Yu's hiding behind them. All three were bunched together, and not one dared follow. At the entrance to the complex, a black sedan was parked beside the security booth. A woman around 50 stood next to it in a dark coat, her hair pinned neatly in place. She leaned against the car door with a phone in her hand. When she saw us coming, she slowly straightened up. My aunt stopped in front of her. Ms. Zhao. The woman nodded, looked past my aunt, and fixed her eyes on me. This is Ling Chen? My aunt nodded. The woman studied me for several seconds, then gave a faint smile that revealed nothing. Your mother looked a lot like me when we were young, and now you look exactly like she did back then. I had no idea what to say, so I just stood there. She looked away from me. Then she asked my aunt, where is she? My aunt didn't answer. She glanced behind me, and the woman followed her gaze. Inside the complex, Liu Meilan saw the woman looking at her and instantly went rigid. The woman watched Liu Meilan for a few seconds, then turned back, her voice still perfectly calm. After all these years, she's still just as pathetic as ever. She pulled an envelope from her bag, then handed it to me. Give this to your mother-in-law, tell her to read it herself. I took the envelope without opening it. She got into the car, started the engine, rolled down the window, and looked at me. Then she left me with one last sentence. Tell your mother-in-law I didn't steal that man from her back then. She was the one who let him walk away. The black sedan slowly drove out of the complex. I stared at the envelope in my hands and couldn't bring myself to open it. My aunt stood beside me without pushing. Then hurried footsteps sounded behind us. I turned around and saw Shen Yutong running toward us. She stopped 2 or 3 meters away, breathing hard. Lingchen, who was that woman? I put the envelope into my bag and answered coldly, none of your business. Her face stiffened, and she took another step forward. How is it none of my business? We're still married. Your family's business is my business. I looked at the slap mark still visible on her face. Your business is that slap. As for us, we were finished the second you raised your hand and hit me. Shen Yutong opened her mouth but couldn't say a word. Liu Meilan came running up too, with Shen Yu's behind her. She rushed over, looked around, and only relaxed after seeing the black car was gone. Then she stared straight at me. What did that woman say to you? I ignored her and turned to leave. Liu Meilan grabbed my arm and raised her voice. I asked you a question. My aunt reached over and calmly removed Liu Meilan's hand from my arm. The motion looked gentle, but Liu Meilan's grip loosened immediately. Keep your hands to yourself. Hands? What did I do? I'm his mother-in-law. I can't even ask him a question? Liu Meilan shouted, neck stiff with anger. Shen Yutong tugged at her mother. Stop talking. Liu Meilan threw her hand off. Then she pointed at me and yelled, Ling Chen, I'm warning you. If you walk out of this place today, don't ever think about coming back. I'm not scared of your mother either. I'd love to ask her how she raised a son like you. I looked at Shen Yutong. My mother's business is none of your concern. Liu Meilan froze. Beside her, Shen Yutong's expression changed again and again until she finally managed to speak. She forced out the question. Ling Chen, who gave you that envelope? What's inside it? I didn't answer. My aunt answered for me. 20-year-old unfinished business. Liu Meilan froze again. What 20-year-old business? I have no idea what you're talking about. Shen Yutong suddenly turned toward Liu Meilan. Mom, what have you been hiding from me? Liu Meilan's voice rose again. What have I hidden from you? Don't listen to them. They're just trying to turn us against each other. Then Shen Yuze stepped forward from the back. He stood beside his mother and smiled at me. I'd never seen that smile before. It looked nothing like the timid brother-in-law I knew. Mom, stop trying to block them. Let them go. Liu Meilan froze. What did you just say? Shen Yuze ignored them. He looked at me and spoke just loudly enough for everyone to hear. Walk out that door today and my sister could find a new husband tomorrow. Believe me? Shen Yutong panicked. Shen Yuze, what the hell are you talking about? Shen Yu shook off her hand and stepped forward. Sis, don't stop me. I've wanted to say this for a long time. You think we don't know what's going on with your family? Your dad's factory won't last much longer, will it? You know exactly why you married my sister. I looked at him. Same familiar face, but there was something completely different in his eyes. Liu Meilan tugged at him. Yuz, enough. Shen Yu shook off her hand. Mom, let me finish. If you want to leave today, I'm all for it. My sister can find someone better. If your lousy factory goes under, that's got nothing to do with us. My aunt stood nearby without saying a word, watching him coldly. Shen Yuzi stepped back, folded his arms, and wore a grin like he was enjoying the show. I looked at Shen Yutong. Her expression kept changing until she finally squeezed out, Shen Yuze, shut up! Sis, I just said what you wanted to say but didn't have the guts to. You should be thanking me. Liu Meilan stood between them, completely flustered, not knowing whose side to take. I slipped the envelope into my bag, zipped it up, then looked at Shen Yu's. You done? I nodded, turned around, and got in the car. My aunt got in too, and we pulled away. We headed toward the complex gate. As we passed them, Shen Yu's was still standing there, smiling. We had barely cleared the gate when my aunt slammed on the brakes. I looked up. A car was parked across the entrance with its headlights on, blocking the road completely. The door opened and someone stepped out. It was my mom. The smile on Shen Yuze's face froze instantly. My mom walked over slowly but steadily. As she passed me, she gave me one look and said nothing. Then she stopped right in front of Shen Yu's. What did you just say? Say it again. Shen Yu's opened his mouth, but not a single word came out. Liu Meilan rushed over and stepped in front of Shen Yuze. She forced a smile. Oh, you're here. Why didn't you say anything? Come inside, come sit down. My mom didn't even look at her. She kept staring straight at Shen Yu's. I asked you a question. Shen Yu's hid behind his mother, his voice suddenly much smaller. What did I say? My mom stared at him. You said our lousy factory could go under for all you care, and that your sister could find someone better. Liu Meilan hurried to smooth things over. He's just a kid. Don't take it personally. My mom finally looked at her. A kid? He's in his 20s and still a kid? Liu Meilan was speechless. Shen Yutong looked at me, lips moving as she whispered, Ling Chen, My mom heard her and turned around. Her voice went cold. You hit him? Shen Yutong froze. The slap mark on her face was still swollen and dark red. She opened her mouth but couldn't say a word. My mom waited 2 seconds, nodded, then pulled an envelope from her bag, identical to the first one, and looked at Liu Meilan. What happened 20 years ago gets settled today. Liu Meilan stared at the envelope so hard her face started twitching again. What happened 20 years ago? I have no idea what you're talking about. My mom ignored her and handed me the envelope. Hold this. I took it. The 2 envelopes felt exactly the same. Same thickness, same heavy weight in my hands. Shen Yu's peeked out from behind Liu Meilan, eyes fixed on the envelopes, still trying to act tough. What is this, some cheap scare tactic? My mom finally looked at him. Just one look, and the rest of his words died in his throat. Yutong, say something! Ling Chen, can we go home and talk about this? Not here. I cut her off. Home? Which home? Shen Yuzi shouted from behind us. Sis, why are you even explaining yourself? If he wants to leave, let him. Let's see how long he can keep acting tough. Liu Meilan jumped in again. Okay, enough. You came all this way. Come inside and sit down. My mom spoke calmly, but there was no arguing with her. I get carsick, so I'm not going anywhere. Since I'm here, we're settling this right here. Mom, whatever you want to say, let's talk inside. My mom cut Shen Yutong off. Don't call me Mom. You weren't thinking about who I was when you hit my son. Shen Yuze muttered from behind them. It was one slap. Is it really that serious? My mom looked at him. Say that again. Shen Yu's flinched, but still stuck his chin out. Fine. It was one slap. My sister married him and he paid 200,000 as a bride price. So what if she hit him once? Liu Meilan immediately smacked him. What nonsense are you saying? Mom, stop protecting them. Am I wrong? When his family wanted money, what did they say? Educated family, good upbringing. Then he walks in and flips a table. That's good upbringing? 200,000. You think our money grows on trees? My mom suddenly asked, then where's the money? What? My mom looked at Shen Yu's. Where is that 200,000 now? Shen Yu's opened his mouth but had nothing to say. My mom spoke again, softly but clearly. I didn't keep a cent of that 200,000. I sent every bit of it back with my son. The passbook for his wedding nest egg was in his bag. You said our family was after money. What money did we take? Liu Meilan muttered. Ling Chen, I've never seen any passbook. Passbook? What passbook? I don't know anything about that. My mom pulled out her phone, tapped a few times, and held up the screen. It showed a photo of the first page of the passbook with my name clearly printed on it. The deposit date was the day before the wedding. My mom looked at Liu Meilan. You didn't know? Then who has that 200,000 now? Liu Meilan opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Shen Yu's whispered, Mom, where's the passbook? I don't know. How would I know anything about a passbook? Just because his mom says it existed doesn't make it true. Shen Yutong stood there, her expression changing again and again. Finally, she turned to me. Ling Chen, the passbook was in your bag? Yes, what are you saying? The 200,000 is gone. The passbook is still there, but the money is gone. Mom, where's the money? I don't know, don't ask me. He probably withdrew it himself and is trying to pin it on us. Sis, maybe he withdrew it earlier. Earlier? That was his wedding nest egg. The money wasn't deposited until the wedding day. How could he withdraw it earlier? My mom put her phone away and looked at Liu Meilan. That was the wedding nest egg I gave my son. It went in on the wedding day and vanished the next. So tell me, what are we doing about this? Liu Meilan's lips trembled before she finally managed, You have any proof we took it? My mom pulled out another phone, tapped the screen, and held it up. This time, it was a video. The footage was shaky but clear enough. On the wedding night, Liu Meilan walked into our bedroom and stayed there for 5 minutes. When she came out, she was stuffing something into her pocket. The timestamp read 10:20 p.m. Shen Yutong grabbed the phone and stared at the screen, her hands shaking. Mom, what did you do with that money? Liu Meilan kept her head down and said nothing. Then Shen Yuze suddenly blurted out, Mom, didn't you say that money was for my down payment? Liu Meilan's face went pale. The second the words left his mouth, Shen Yuze realized he'd just exposed everything. Mom, is that true? No. Yutong, don't listen to him. I was only holding the money for you. I was going to give it back later. To who? Shen Yutong cut her off. Me or him? Sis, why are you yelling at Mom? Yeah, she took the money, but she did it for this family, for us. That was Ling Chen's wedding nest egg. It was his. He married you, so doesn't that make his money our family's money? Sis, wake up! My aunt finally spoke, calm as ever. 200,000 stolen on the wedding night to buy the younger son a house? If that gets out, your whole family will be famous for all the wrong reasons. Shen Yutong turned to me, eyes already red. Ling Chen, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Sis, why are you begging him? He's leaving anyway. Shut up! Fine, I'll shut up. Mom took the money, not me. You people can fight all you want. It has nothing to do with me. He turned and walked away. Liu Meilan yelled after him, Use, come back! He never looked back and disappeared into the night. Liu Meilan crouched down, covering her face. Yutong, Mom was wrong. I made one stupid mistake. One stupid mistake? You've been making them for 20 years, starting when you stole another woman's man. Liu Meilan snapped her head up, eyes red. Who are you calling a homewrecker? Ling Chen's mother, explain yourself. Who stole anyone's man? Your old friend couldn't keep her own boyfriend. How is that my fault? So you finally admit it. I admitted nothing. Stop trying to trap me. Shen Yutong stood there, completely numb. Ling Chen, how do you want this to end? End? Did you think about how this would end when you hit me? Did your mom think about it when she stole the money? Stole? Who stole anything? That money was ours. The 200,000 was the bride price for my daughter. What's wrong with me taking it back? Liu Meilan started making a scene again. My mom answered coldly, The bride price paid when your daughter married my son and the wedding nest egg my son brought back are two separate things. At some point, Shen Yu's had come back. From the shadows, he said, Mom, stop arguing with them. Call the police and say they're extorting us. Who can prove what happened to that 200,000? It's been moved through multiple accounts. They'll never trace it. Shen Yuze, are you insane? Sis, you're the one losing it. So what if they have video? It only proves Mom took the money. How do they prove she spent it? Without more footage, they've got nothing. Liu Meilan's eyes suddenly lit up. What did you say? Shen Yutong rushed over and grabbed Shen Yu's by the collar. He pulled free and stepped back. He was still smiling. Sis, why are you grabbing me? I'm trying to protect this family. Protect us by telling Mom to file a false police report? Who says it's false? Mom took the money, but it was bride price money. It was ours to begin with. If they want to fight, give them one. Once it gets to the police station, who can prove anything? Mom, relax. Don't say a word about the money. Just say they're extorting us. They have video. What does the video prove? That you entered the room and took the money. Are your fingerprints on the cash? Liu Meilan thought for a moment, and confidence slowly returned to her face. My aunt stepped forward and stopped in front of Shen Yu's. What are you doing? My aunt pulled out her phone and held it toward him. You wanted to call the police, right? Go ahead. Call them now. If you won't, I will. In front of everyone, she punched in 3 numbers, 911. What are you doing? Do you know what happens when you file a false police report? Do you know what extortion charges can mean? My aunt's finger hovered over the call button as she looked at Liu Meilan. Think carefully. Once this call goes through, this blows wide open. Think your daughter's factory survives the fallout? Don't call! Liu Meilan panicked. I was wrong. I'll pay it back. I'll pay it back right now. Then where is it? Shen Yutong pressed her. Where's the money now? Mom, where is it? Liu Meilan lowered her head and stayed silent. Shen Yu's quietly said, It's gone. I'm dating someone, and her family wanted a down payment for a house. Shen Yutong stood frozen. I watched her, waiting for her to say something. She said nothing. I walked over to my mom. Mom, let's go. My aunt followed us a few steps, then stopped and turned back. Tomorrow 9 a.m., come to my office. We're discussing the divorce. Ling Chen. Shen Yutong ran after me and grabbed my arm. The passbook. Your passbook is still inside. Then bring it with you tomorrow. I pulled my arm free and got into the car. My mom sat in the back without saying another word as we turned onto the main road. My aunt suddenly said, That passbook, think it's still there? No. The moment I said it, my phone lit up. It was a message from Shen Yutong. The passbook is missing. Ling Chen, did you take it? I stared at the message and didn't reply. 3 seconds later, another one came in. My mom says you stole it yourself so you could frame her. At 9 the next morning, Shen Yutong came to the office alone. Her eyes were swollen, and the slap mark on her face was still there. My mom said she isn't coming. She pushed a brown envelope across the table. The passbook really is gone. This is all the cash we have, 80,000. I'll pay the rest in installments. My aunt opened the envelope, glanced inside, then looked at me. I said nothing. Ling Chen, I was wrong about what happened that night, but the passbook had nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with you? That was your mother and your brother. You really think you're separate from this? My aunt slid the divorce agreement over. Sign it. Shen Yutong picked up the pen. Her fingers wouldn't stop shaking. Then the door suddenly flew open. Liu Meilan stormed in with Shen Yuzi right behind her. Liu Meilan snatched the agreement and ripped it to pieces. Sign what? I don't agree to this! Mom, shut up! Ling Chen, if you want a divorce, explain that 200,000 first. The passbook was in your bag and the money disappeared. Who says you didn't take it yourself just to squeeze us for money? Exactly. You two were the only ones in that room on the wedding night. If the money vanished, who else are we supposed to blame? I looked at the mother and son and suddenly laughed. My aunt pulled an envelope from her drawer and slid it to the middle of the table. I had someone pull the security footage from outside your place. At 10:20 on the wedding night, it shows exactly who went into that room and who came out. Shen Yutong looked at her mother, her voice hoarse. Mom, how much more have you been hiding from me? Before she could finish, the door opened again. Several uniformed officers walked in. 2 other people followed behind them. Liu Meilan? Someone reported you for suspected theft. You need to come with us. Yuzi, say something! Shen Yuz backed all the way into the corner, shaking his head. Mom, I don't know. I don't know anything. Shen Yutong stood there silently, watching her mother get taken away and her brother shrink into the corner. My aunt slid a freshly printed divorce agreement in front of her. You can sign now. Shen Yutong picked up the pen. Her hand shook badly. She had just signed the last line when the door opened again. My mom walked in. She came to my side and set an envelope on the table. Open it. I opened it and froze. Inside was a passbook with my name on it. The full 200,000 was untouched. On the wedding night, I was worried the money wasn't safe at home, so I had your aunt withdraw it early and move it somewhere else. Then, last night was a setup for you. Shen Yuze froze where he stood. My aunt stood up and looked at me. Let's go. From today on, you have nothing to do with this family. I stood and headed for the door. Behind me, Shen Yuz shouted, Sis, you can't abandon me. Mom got taken away because of me, but I'm your real brother. Then came Shen Yutong's voice, so soft it sounded like she was asking herself, You two? You knew all along? The elevator doors closed. My aunt pressed the button for the first floor. Watching the numbers change, I suddenly remembered something. Was that security video real? Real or fake doesn't matter. What mattered was that they believed it. I followed her outside. A moment later, my phone buzzed. It was Shen Yuzi. Ling Chen, I know Mom was wrong, but you went too far. Just wait. The next afternoon, Shen Yuz showed up outside my studio with 3 men, holding a sign that read, Marriage scam, pay back the money. My aunt walked over, took one look, pulled out her phone, and started recording. When Shen Yuze saw her, he got even louder. Record it! Go ahead! Let everyone see how this family stole 200,000 on the wedding night, then turned around and got my mom arrested. The 3 men he brought started shouting along with him. My aunt finished recording, put her phone away, and walked straight up to Shen Yuz. Who called the police and got your mom taken in? You or me? Your own family dragged this to the station. Your mom admitted taking the money 3 times in front of the police. Want to see the video of her signing the statement? The 3 men exchanged looks and backed up. One of them muttered, Yuz, this is way above our pay grade. He left, and the other 2 quickly followed. Shen Yuz stood there, his face shifting from red to pale. Anything else? My mom already said it. The money was the bride price. It belonged to us. It wasn't theft. Then let the court decide. We've already filed a theft case over the 200,000. You can figure out for yourself how serious that is. Shen Yuz's hand trembled. Just then, Shen Yutong walked over. She looked even more exhausted than the day before, and her eyes were still bloodshot. She walked up to Shen Yuz, snatched the sign from him, and tore it to pieces. Sis, have you lost your mind? You're the one who's lost it. Shen Yutong tossed the scraps into a trash can, then looked at me. Ling Chen, I know I have no right to ask, but Shen Yuz is my brother and his mom is my mom. Can I ask you to show them some mercy? You're asking me? Then tell me, who slapped me that night? She froze. Shen Yuz yelled from behind her. Sis, just say it! Shut up! Shen Yutong snapped at him, then turned back to me. Her mouth opened again and again, but she couldn't force the words out. Sis, say it. If you don't, do you think he's going to let us off? I hit you. Too late. Ling Chen, don't get smug. This isn't over. I had someone look into your family's factory. It's already in trouble and buried in debt. Just wait. My aunt walked over and handed him a document. This is our family's asset statement. The debt you're bragging about isn't even half a month of my sister's cash flow. Shen Yuz's eyes nearly popped out. Shen Yutong stood frozen. I looked at the 2 of them. Then I said one last thing. Court is tomorrow. The judge will decide what happens with that 200,000. Sis, say something. What are we supposed to do now? Shen Yutong said nothing. I listened as their footsteps faded away. After they left, my mom texted me. A few guys showed up at the factory. Shen Yuz sent them to block the entrance. I had someone deal with them. 2 days later, Shen Yuz was crouched outside my apartment building. The second he saw me, he jumped up and blocked my path. Lingchen, drop the case against my mom. His eyes were swollen and his hair was a mess. He looked nothing like the smug brother-in-law from 3 days earlier. Why should I? Because she's your mother-in-law. And because you and my sister aren't officially divorced yet. Shen Yutong walked over and pulled at him. Shen Yuzi, let's go. I'm not going. Lingchen, listen to me. If my mom really goes to jail, I'll come here every day and block your door. I'll make your life miserable. Block my door? I nodded and stepped aside. 2 uniformed officers were standing behind me. One walked up. Shen Yuz, right? 2 days ago, you brought people to block the textile factory. Yesterday, you caused trouble at the office. Now you're here again. 3rd time. Come with us. I didn't do anything. I just came to say a few words. A few words? The officer pulled out his phone and played a video of Shen Yuze outside my studio the day before, waving that sign and shouting. Shen Yutong rushed over to stop them. Officer, he's my brother. He's young and doesn't know any better. He's 25. That's what you said before. As Shen Yuz was taken away, he turned and shouted at Shen Yutong, Sis, save me! You can't just abandon me! Shen Yutong stood there without moving. Once he was gone, she looked at me. Her mouth opened and closed before she finally said, Ling Chen, what exactly do you want? What do I want? When your brother was blocking my door, why didn't you ask him what he wanted? She fell silent. I turned toward the garage. After a few steps, I heard her call from behind. My mom wants to see you. She says there are things she needs to tell you face to face. It's about that old friend of your mom's. She says she wasn't the only one involved back then. In the detention center visiting room, Liu Meilan sat across from me. She looked like she'd aged 10 years in 3 days. When she saw me walk in, her eyes lit up for a second, then dimmed again. You came. I sat down without speaking. She stared at me for a long moment, then said, That old friend of your mom's. The one named Zhao. Do you know what happened to her later? No. Her husband died. The factory collapsed. She raised her child alone and life was hard. She leaned closer and lowered her voice. I wasn't the only one behind what happened back then. Your mom told me to go after that man. I froze. Don't believe me? Ask your mom. She didn't want the guy herself, but she didn't want Zhao to have him either, so she told me to interfere. I did what she asked and then she cut me off. She didn't speak to me for 20 years. She leaned back and stared straight into my eyes. Ling Chen, your mom isn't as perfect as you think. She and I are the same. My aunt walked over and stood beside me. Finished? Ling Chen, you're not going to ask about your mom? I'll ask her myself. I reached the door, then looked back at Liu Meilan. But your history with my mom and the money you stole are 2 separate issues. When I walked out of the detention center, Shen Yutong was waiting outside. She looked at me and hesitated. Ling Chen, do you believe what my mom said? I said nothing. I started walking. She followed 1 step behind. Ling Chen, is there really no chance left for us? A chance? Did you think about giving us a chance when you hit me? Once we got in the car, my aunt asked curiously, Are you going to ask your mom about that story? She'll tell me. Right then, my mom texted, Half of what she said is true and half is false. Come home and I'll tell you which half. When I got home, my mom was sitting in the living room with 2 cups of tea on the table. I sat down across from her. Was she telling the truth? My mom took a sip of tea and set the cup down. Yes. Back then, I didn't like that man, and I didn't want Zhao marrying him either. I told Liu Meilan, Go after him. If you win him over, he's yours. She did. She married him. Later, his family lost everything. She blamed me for not warning her. Why didn't you warn her? My mom smiled. I did. She said I was jealous. I leaned back on the couch without saying anything. She looked at me. So is that my fault? I thought for a moment, then shook my head. Let's eat. Court is tomorrow. Get some sleep. The next day outside the courthouse, Shen Yutong stood alone. Liu Meilan wasn't there, and neither was Shen Yuz. When she saw me coming, she stopped a short distance away. My mom got 8 months. Shen Yuz got 15 days in detention. She paused. Ling Chen, I didn't come here today to ask you to forgive me. She pulled a sheet of paper from her pocket and handed it to me. It's the divorce agreement. I signed it. I found your passbook in my brother's room. He hid it and planned to use it once everything blew over. She walked a couple of steps, then stopped and looked back at me. Ling Chen, I'll regret that slap for the rest of my life. I headed toward the parking lot. Halfway there, my phone buzzed with a message from Shen Yutong. It was just 1 sentence. Do you hate me? I stared at those words for a few seconds, then deleted the message and blocked her number. My aunt's car was parked by the curb. When she saw me, she asked, All settled? All settled. The car pulled out of the parking lot. In the rearview mirror, the courthouse entrance was empty. Not a single person was left.